Hello, Dr. Sushma Singh this side. Today we start Block 3 Perspective on Family, Marriage and Kinship. Unit 9 The Household and the Family. The family is a unique institution in that it is both a private and a visibly public institution at the same time. It oscillates between the most intimate to the most public in its various contexts. The family is near universal as well. All of us, for most of the time, live in families. The very visible and commonplace presence of the family has perhaps lent itself to the impression that the sociology of the family is a soft subject, or it could be the other way round, in that it is too intimate and private to be brought up to the level of sociological analysis. Notwithstanding either of the possibilities, Oberoi thinks that being commonplace enables everyone to have an option on the family, thus inhibiting its consideration seriously. She also points to the intrusive fears that make the family too sensitive to critical inquiry. It is as though critical interrogation of the family might constitute an intrusion into that private domain where the nation's most cherished culture values are nurtured and reproduced. As though the very fabric of society would be undone if the family were in any way questioned or reshaped. Social philosophers have all through history, though at long intervals, reflected and commented upon the family. The family constituted an important area of study in sociology in its early infancy. The high status accorded to the family in early Christianity might have influenced the genre of family studies in that period. This continued to be the case until the early 60s of the 20th century. In the Indian context too, family studies have been through ups and downs in popularity and focus. The family has remained a central social institution. However, it has of late received somewhat inadequate attention in comparison with the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. Given the universality of the prevalence of marriage in India, the study of the family has been given somewhat less attention in the last 2 decades of the 20th century. The study of the family in anthropology also had its ups and downs. Being intervened with the marriage and kinship, the institutions that structure rules and behavior regarding relationships both by descent and alliance gained predominance over the study of the family. We do know that these principles and rules routinely get enacted out of the family and the household. Somehow this dimension of the family happened to be glossed over despite Forty's view that domestic group is the workshop for kinship and marriage. It is worth serious consideration that the family is to use Goffman's dramaturgical notion. Both the backstage and the front stage of a very substantial part of the people's behavior throughout their lives. The life is an omnipresent, the family is an omnipresent institution, stages and witnesses the drama of life as it unfolds throughout people's lives. Such an approach to the family is less likely to fall under the clearly charitable principles of kinship that anthropology found more fascinating to study. It largely dealt with neater categories than the existential messiness that the family offered. The numerous variations in the dynamics of everyday behavior of the family did not lend itself easily into the fold of certain structural principles. The family was thus best left marginalized from conventional structural anthropology. Nevertheless, it is a platform from which most of the structural principles of sexuality and relations of reciprocity, hierarchy, and exchange are enacted, regulated, and reproduced. Let us halt a bit here and see what is meant by the terms family in the next lecture. Thanks for listening.